whole world. And back in 1994 when it first launched, it cost give or take about 12 grand. And so just how much have things changed in the last 20 years? Well, here we go with the most expensive bikes currently offered by 15 of the biggest motorcycle manufacturers in the world. And naturally we'll go in price order ascending, now bringing up the rear. We've Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650. Got Royal Enfield with their Super Meteor 650, and this is the most premium bike they've recently produced. And if you go for the most expensive paint option, it comes in at £7,299. Now for your money you get their 650 Parallel Twin, which is a really good little engine. Previously it was found in the Interceptor 650 Retro and the Continental GT Cafe Racer, but this time it's in a more stretched out cruiser chassis that gives you that relaxed riding position. Now of course, being a cruiser you get a little bit more bling and detail, which is why it's top of their lineup in terms of price. And I think they'd actually be proud of their position in this list, because the Enfield brand is all about offering characterful, cool looking bikes at an attainable price point. Next up we've got Husqvarna Northern 901 Expedition. Husqvarna with their Northern 901 Expedition, and this is basically a jacked up, more touring and off-road focused version of their brilliant looking Northern 901 adventure bike at £13,599. It's currently the most pricey bike on their website, and for just a few £100 more than the standard bike you get luggage, a touring windscreen, massively upgraded suspension, and so it looks like pretty good value if you're the sort of biker who likes to get stuck into the accessories catalog. Just the word of warning though, for the short of leg, this is one tall motorcycle. It's 875mm in the lower seat setting, and so that probably rules quite a few of us out. No, it gets here next with the V100 Mandela S. V100 Mandela S, which might be, despite its low position on this list, for me one of the most terrible bikes. It's a sort of sports tourer roadster type thing with a brand new liquid cool V-twin that makes about 115 horses. Then you've got a top spec chassis with semi-active electronic suspension, stylish looks with their signature green and silver paint, and a beautiful single-sided swing arm. And on top of all that, an innovative adaptive aerodynamic system where the windscreen and these flaps on the tank move up and down to change the airflow around the rider based upon your current speed and riding mode. Super cool. And we've got one coming for a review in August, so do hit subscribe if you've not already to see that video as soon as it goes live. Now over to Suzuki, and for 17, Suzuki Hayabusa, £999, which still seems like loose change compared to the top end of this list that we'll get onto later. You can get an absolute motorcycle icon in the shape of the Hayabusa. Now this is the latest generation, which was introduced back in 2021, but it does carry pretty much all the hallmarks of the original. You've got a whopping big 0.3-liter inline-4 that has bags of torque in it, climbs to 190 horsepower peak at almost 10,000 RPM. That engine is housed in a long weighty chassis. It's about 260 kilos, this bike, but it does make it perfect for absolutely nailing in a straight line. On top of that, it also helps to give this bike a sumptuous ride quality and this sort of stability for covering distance, and honestly it's one of the most effortlessly quick bikes that I've had the pleasure of riding. So for just under 18k, that seems pretty fair to me. That 1.3-liter engine though is absolutely dwarfed by the next bike, which is the Triumph Rocket 3, because Triumph Rocket 3, this gets a 2.5-liter engine, so almost twice the size, and that makes it the largest capacity production motorcycle engine currently on the market, and it also makes more peak torque than any other production motorcycle at 221 Newton meters, specifically the more touring biased GT version, which gets forward controls, a mini windscreen, and a passenger backrest, pushes the price up a little bit compared to the more sporty R model. And then on top of that you can choose either the 221 limited edition paint job or the NUFA 2023 Chrome edition, and that brings the grand total to £23,595 before you even delve into the accessories catalog. It's a monster of a bike with a huge amount of road presence, and so in terms of the amount of metal you get for your money, this one feels pretty good. Now, before we get into the top 10, I just want to say a massive thanks to today's video sponsor, and that's we use the X3 360 Insta360 cameras to capture all of our riding footage when we're out reviewing bikes, and they've been an absolute game changer since we started using them. You can mount them anywhere on the bike, set it to record your ride, and then later in their app or the studio software you can reframe the footage and use different crops to get awesome little clips and angles to share on social media. Genuinely, they're super easy to use. Anyone can do it, and I just love how creative you can be with the different shots, and also how stress-free it makes the process, because you don't really have to worry about it being perfectly framed. So check out the links down in the description below to get yours, and you'll also find a code down there specifically for my viewers with a free gift. So once again, a massive thanks to Insta360 for their support, and with that, back to the bikes. Now we're getting into the serious money, and this is the first of some incredible looking track specials and homologation specials for Yamaha R1 GTR. This one is the R1 GTR from Yamaha. Now, this bike is for track use only, and it edges out their top-level road bike, the R1N, by just a few £100. At the heart of it, you get their incredible CP4 cross-plane inline-4, which makes one of the best sounds in motorcycling, and then the rest is effectively a blank canvas to create your dream track day bike or race bike with a bunch of upgrades. Available through their GTR Pro shop, so $25,000 is the starting price, but really the sky's the limit. And in fact, 44 Teeth recently published an awesome video showing just how far you can take it up to about $150,000, I believe, and so I'll link to that down in the description below. For BMW M1000RR to BMW now, this is the M1000RR, which is a 3,940-pound homologation special, which I think looks incredible in this new 2023 version, with some massive winglets, aero brake covers, and boatloads of carbon bodywork. Effectively, you've got that SOORR sports bike with loads of mods to give it more power and chassis performance, and you'll even see some of the parts like the brakes branded with their M logo, with the M1000RR being the first motorcycle to bear the famous BMW M prefix when it was first introduced back in 2020. £3,940 is the starting price there, and if you want all that fancy carbon fiber and billet componentry, then you'll have to add on their M competition package, which is another £100. But now Honda Gold Wing for something completely different, and over at Honda it's not their super fancy Fireblade SP that tops the range, but rather something more sedate and luxurious, and that's the Gold Wing Tour DCT. 32 grand is admittedly a lot of money, but we've got a Gold Winger's a bit of a long timer at the moment, and I've got to say it's certainly a lot of bike Not only do you get their super smooth flat 6 engine, which I think is the perfect torquey power plant for a big tourer, and you also get their automatic DCT gearbox, which is extremely slick, but there are just loads of other features all over the bike, like the electronic windscreen, the Apple CarPlay integration, the reverse assist mode, the integrated radio. There's lots more as well, and they absolutely make this bike feel like it's worth that much money for a couple of grand more, though you could alternatively